Okay, my name is Tolulope Kolade. They call me T-Code. I'm a voiceover artist. I'm a podcaster, the host of the Every African Perspective, where I discuss voiceover with voiceover artists, professionals across Africa and Nigeria. And I am also part of the team for the voiceover conference. So it's a pleasure to be a host of this panel. Please, you can do better. I'm delighted to see all our faces, and I'm also more delighted to have this conversation today because a lot of people consider people like me, the new cats, so to speak. And we have sort of like taken voiceover to a point where it's no longer backdoor, it's no longer behind the scenes. We're trying to bring it and project it to the faces of people. And there are some individuals that have been doing this very well. I would have wished to have all of them here, but just a few of them will be joining me, on the panel seats today. So I'll start by introducing one of the ladies that will be joining me, a very popular person. You can guess who I'm talking about. She's a versatile voiceover artist, a content creator. She has a passion for empowering aspiring talents in the industry. With over 5 years of experience, she has worked with numerous brands to create engaging and impacting content across various platforms. And she has this unique ability to connect with audiences and deliver exceptional performances that meet clients' expectation. I'm talking about no other person than one of the most followed female voiceover artists in the industry, beautiful and also very, very good at what she does. Please, ladies and gentlemen, a resounding round of applause for Voice of Steph. Please keep clapping for her as she comes forward. Keep clapping for her as she comes forward. You're welcome, Steph. It's nice having you. All right. Let's move on to the next person. This is a passionate voiceover artist, a content creator, a voiceover coach from Nigeria, and is also a fast-growing, it has a fast-growing voiceover institution, same as Stepahnie, I forgot to mention, and is known for his great sense of humor, his ability to connect with audience, and he has done voiceover jobs for big brands across this country. Than the founder of Daza Voiceover. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for David Attah. Please keep clapping for him. David. Welcome. All right, let's move on. And this time around, I'm going to be bringing another man on the stage. I like to call him a voiceover evangelist because he goes from city to city, planting the gospel of voiceover, and he does it selflessly. He is a communication strategist, a media and advertising executive. Is the immediate past general manager of Royal Roots 92.9 FM, Ibadan, the team lead at Heavy Mix Studios Limited, a company that offers media solutions to businesses across the world, and is the founder of a platform for training and exporting professional voice actors, which we call Voiceover Bootcamp. Ladies and gentlemen, if your hands are not too busy, Alade. For where are the ambulance team? Fabulous, fabulous. Welcome, sir. All right, let's move on. I'm bringing up another female this time around. She's a multi-talented individual who has earned a reputation as a versatile, trustworthy voiceover artist. If you hear her voiceovers, you'll know why I say so. She is the president of the Voiceover Academy Nigeria Alumni Network. You can do better if you want to clap. And I know that there are folks from the Voiceover Academy here. Shout out to you guys. She fosters collaboration and contributes to the growth of the Nigerian voiceover industry. I'm talking about the multi-talented, beautiful, and gorgeous Eniola Keshinro, also known as NK. Please keep clapping as she comes forward. Welcome, Eniola. All right, now let's move on to the last man standing. He's a distinguished media personality, an event compere, a stage and screen actor with an award-winning voice career. He currently serves as the lead entertainment producer and anchor at News Central TV, one of Africa's biggest media organizations. It goes by the nickname Voice of God. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Edewor Joseph Ajueshi. Please give him a round of applause. A round of applause for the Voice of God. I'm excited because I'm going to be hearing that voice, the voice of God. All right, guys, so welcome to this panel session. And the name of this session is The Creator Economy, Social Media, Content Creation, and the Future of Voiceover in Africa. We're into this conversation because we are looking to explore the impact of the creator economy, social media. We're looking at sharing our own experiences because people on this panel, they've been on that train for a while now and it's been very profitable. We're looking at the strategies that we could explore and we're looking at leveraging on these trends to build successful and sustainable voiceover careers, all right? So let's start with a simple question, more like an icebreaker, and I'm going to be directing this to Voice of Steph. We've had this conversation on my podcast before, but let's talk about it again. What inspired you to go into voiceovers?
Praise the Lord. Sorry, I plan to do that. So, okay, a voiceover, very quickly. I think it was, this whole journey started. A friend, my colleague then in school, there was a competition going on, so she bribed me. I was very hungry that day, you know. So she bribed me that if I went for an audition that was going on in Enugu then, she would give me fufu and egusi soup with 2 meat. So, you know, I went for the audition. I came out a top 10 national finalist. I got the fufu and egusi. You know, from there, I started, my mom and my dad work in, they're broadcasters. They've worked in TV, radio, they're both voiceover artists, so it's very natural for me. So when I hear my mom on radio, like when she's doing the Diamond Girl on your radio, Cleopatra, you know, I'm like, oh my God, I want to do that someday, you know what I'm saying? So I watch a lot of cartoons and mime, like reduce the volume of the cartoon and mimic what they're saying. That's how it started basically. Started with church, doing voiceovers for church. I know in church, instead of, they'll pat you on the back, say, God bless you, you know, so I was very content. Anyway, started watching videos on YouTube and other streaming platforms on this art called voiceover, and basically just did practices, trained myself, and that's just how the whole thing began. Yeah.
Interesting. Let's give her a round of applause for that. Such an inspiring story. All right, I'll go to my right now, and I have some amazing gentlemen and a lady. But let me start from the man at my right, Mr. Charles Alade. You are the founder of the Voiceover Bootcamp, and there's something that I have seen across board. I mean, you're also a founder of other platforms as well, but you remain consistent in your energy that you put into voiceovers. And I mean, people would think that you're Lagos-based, you know, the energy, everything, but you just ensure that you apply that effort. Why did you think that voiceover, or why did you think that social media would be a great platform, you know, to push voiceover? Because you've been doing this for a long time, I know. And at the time you were doing it, it wasn't like social media was a thing. So why did you think about a different, you know, way of pushing it?
All right, so first off, I would like to appreciate the convener of this amazing event. While I was coming, I thought about him, and it came to mind that he's a very silent missile. Kingi is someone who is quiet, but making a lot of impact. So I want to commend him first. Please help me celebrate Kingi. So I've done radio for quite a while, since 2011. And I look at the life of the people that were together back in Radio Nigeria where I started, Ibadan. I was lobbying, I was an artist, we call them artists or independent presenter. So I was lobbying to be a staff. So I went to one of them, get me do it. This, just come and do your show and leave. I want to be a staff, I want to be a staff. But I remember everybody was always complaining about the salary. So I felt, somebody advised me and said, see, we even like what you are doing, that you come and leave. We wish that we had more time to ourselves. So I said, there should be something else that radio presenters can do with their time, aside talking from morning till evening, Mondays through Friday, and then there's still peanuts that you have with you. So I said, let me come up with a training for voiceover. And then we started doing it. But what brought me out for social media was, one day I was thinking, I said, we're always behind the scene. Nobody knows you. Nobody is seeing you. Let me put out something that shows how I am creating voiceover. So I did a video. I produced that video in my house. The original audio was in my house. So I said, let me do a behind the scene of how it was created. I was playing 5 characters. I was playing the guy, the woman, the one other guy, and then the announcer. So I said, people needed to see the making of this. So I put out that video. For 1 year, nobody saw that video. Just one day, I was in church, and then I saw people started tagging me. Tunde Edna had posted it, Yabalev had posted it, G-Street had posted it. That video had over 7,000 comments. From that video alone, I met an organization that I've done business with in at least close to, I don't want to give figures, but in millions. Just one video. But I just said, people should be able to see what we are doing. We can't continue to hide. And from there, I started seeing people encouraging me and say, oh, this video is good, this video is good. I started shooting. After a while, I got busy. When you have a daughter and a boy, you can't be shooting video every day. So, but I'm glad that that video gave me that attention that I needed at that time. So it was because I wanted people to see the face behind the voice.
And even when it did not look like it was paying off at the first time, you said at least a year
that
before.
That video was online for more than 1 year before.
For more than a year. Yeah, so that's the power of consistency, right? So wherever, however, ensure that you put yourself out there. Some way, somehow, someone may be watching, and that could be your door to your next big breakthrough. All right, so for some of us who don't have a daughter and a son, we have time to remain consistent. I want to take this next question to David Attah. And David is one of the most consistent content creators that I know, almost on a daily basis, right? That's no grief for anybody. He took it seriously. So David, I want to ask you about remaining consistent. 2 questions, actually. One is about staying consistent and how you're able to do it. And then the second thing is, I remember when I was starting my own journey as well, one of the conflicting things about it was, what kind of content should I create? I mean, I'm more than a voiceover artist. Voiceover, there are people here that before they started doing voiceovers, had other things going on. Probably they're into fashion, they're into cooking, and then they find voiceover to be something, and they're thinking, do I rebrand? Do I turn this something pastries into something voiceover? How do I manage my Instagram, my online, and you're doing something in such a way that you don't necessarily say you're a voiceover artist, but you do something related. So how are you able to factor in the other parts of you into being a content creator that also speaks to social media, and how do you stay consistent?
Okay, thank you so much. Is that my voice? Thank you so much for that question, T-Code. I want to use the opportunity to thank King E and the organizers of this conference. Please, everybody, celebrate King E. Thank you so much. I'm really very excited to be here. And let me just go straight to your question. I'm a man of few words. And make I no lie. Could they catch me for where I sit down? So if I talk, if you get the way I talk, just know, say, na the co. I don't know where the AC they blow from. But na the co, they catch me. You understand? How I stay consistent, to be very honest with you, consistency is one of the hardest things to do, especially when you want to be consistent on social media. A lot of times, sometimes I say, okay, this year that I'm entering, I'm going to be posting every day for the next 365 days. I will try. First month, I will post 30 days straight and to be looking good, but I mean, along the line, you just give up, you know. So what I do personally, one of my strategy to content creation is I batch produce, you understand? So I can just, you know, set aside a day where I say, okay, today, not just for production, and I just, over the week, I would have been scripting. You know, I get my script from everyday life. Today, like this, I've gotten script for some content. I've typed it down on my notepad. I've heard some people make some wrong pronunciations. I'm like, oh, not true. I don't catch this one. I'll type it down, and that's also an idea. Then, at the end of the week, maybe on a Saturday or on a Monday, I'll just get my phone, because I use my phone, my XR. That's what I use to produce all my content. You know, get my phone, record all my videos, everything at once. Then sometimes I schedule post. Sometimes I just post direct. If I know I'm going to be busy tomorrow and I need to post at a particular time, I just schedule the post. There's a feature on Instagram where even if you're sleeping, even if you're offline, even if you're online, it posts automatically. And it helps me a lot. And posting on social media has made me, it has a way of keeping you relevant. It has a way of keeping you in the eyes of people. Most of my clients, like I can say that 80% of my clients, everybody I've worked with online, I got them from Instagram, whether online or offline, I got them from Instagram. Instagram, not Twitter, not LinkedIn, not anywhere. And that really, really, really helps me. And you also asked a question about the kind of content we should be creating. Just like I said, the Holy Spirit tell me, say, you go ask this question. So I jotted some things down. Number one, the first kind of content I post as a voiceover artist is the kind of content that actually tells you that, oh yes, I'm a voiceover artist. So I post videos like the recent one I posted of a video demo. I posted telling you that, oh yes, I'm a voiceover artist. I voiced some recordings to show you that, yeah, I'm actually a voiceover artist. Another kind of content that's very good behind the scenes, show people, you mentioned something like that, show people the process, how you go about making this voiceover. Then the third kind of content, collaboration, very, very important. Tico and I, we collaborate a lot on some kind of content. So it's very important. Number four, voiceover tips. If you're the kind of person that like telling people, okay, these are the tips to create better voiceovers, is also very important as well. Then the final one is engaging with your audience, you know. Being on social media doesn't mean you shouldn't engage with your audience, reply comments, like comments, comment on people's posts, but it's very tricky. That one's very tricky because most people, the mistake I see most people make is that they use their business page, their personal business page to make reckless comments on Tunde Not posts or blogs and everything. So if you have a professional account, be careful of the kind of comments you make on people's posts. It's very, very important. Engage in voiceover challenge related videos. Do everything, and I mean, you don't know the one way go peak, but I mean, that's just what I have to say. I don't know if I've been talking too much.
You did very well. Please give him a round of applause. David Attah there. All right. So one of the things that David mentioned is collaboration, and it's one of those things that I like to do a lot. I collaborate with a lot of my colleagues, especially for the fact that I have a podcast that I have to interview voiceover artists almost every week. So that has given me the opportunity to interview Steph, Charles Alade, David, NEK. We're scheduled our interview, and Voice of God, you'll be next. So let's get to NEK, and then I'll come to this side. Right, Annie, you are the president of the Voiceover Academy Alumni Network, and the Voiceover Academy, of course, has lots of students, right? And I know that you've been doing a lot in that part to, foster the growth in the voiceover industry. So I want to ask what strategies, right, what conscious efforts you guys build, to foster that collaboration, and how do you make it work? Because I see a lot of content from, that end, and I'm like, these guys know they rest, they know they sleep. So how do you guys make it work, bringing people together, creating content to promote the industry and themselves too?
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Seafood. I think that's a very excellent question. I think the first thing is, speaking for Voiceover Academy, the first thing that we try to do is to let everyone know that they have a voice and that there is power in their voice. We also let people know that they have a story and that there is power in their story. And we foster collaboration through some of the initiatives that we have with the executive, the alumni executive, for example. So sometimes we do content around education because that is a craft that is as old as time itself, right? So we do educational content, which we put on platforms like YouTube, Instagram, because we know that there are many people who want to get into voiceovers, right? And one thing that we sort of noticed is when you do a search, or you do a Google search or a YouTube search, well done, Voice of Steph. Her videos will pop up, right? But apart from Voice of Steph and a few others, you find mostly international content. There is not that much content from Nigeria. So we decided that, okay, we're going to play in the education industry. And so we have initiatives like the Learning Conclave, which we hold monthly, and we invite industry specialists. They talk about insights into voiceovers, and we put this content out there for people who want to find their feet as well. And one of the reasons that we do this is the industry is filled with different generations, right? We have the veterans, the older generations, and then we have the younger generation coming up. Yes, every economy needs to have a growing population. However, we need the wisdom of the veterans. So that's where they come in, and we encourage them to, create this content to help people to grow in that industry. We also have an initiative called Content Day, for example. And in Content Day, we pick a day in the month. I'm giving you typical examples of how we get to create some of these things that you see online. So on Content Day, for example, we ask the community members to come in to the crib or to the academy. Come with your content ideas. If you don't have anything, come. We'll brainstorm together. And then we take about 5, 6, 7 hours just brainstorming on content ideas, things that we want to put out there, and we create this content together. That is what you see over a space of maybe 1 month or 2 months. We do this in a day sometimes, right? And at the end of the day, the most important thing is everybody does have a strong voice. Everybody has a story to tell, but how do you put it forward? Those are some of the initiatives that we do at Voiceover Academy, help people tell their stories, help people share their stories, because life actually is very transient, right? And I always say live fully and die empty. If you just are passing through the motions, living life as it comes, you're not documenting your life, nobody's hearing your story, nobody's inspired by your story, what are you going to leave at the end of the day? I think that's a question that all of us need to ask. And I think that that's how we sort of need to approach content creation, right? Who am I? Why am I here? What am I doing right now? There's this Japanese philosophy called Ikigai, right? And it's just exploring 4 major constructs. What I love, what I can do, what the world needs, what I can get paid for. And I think that everyone should sort of study this and then approach content creation from there. Because you're just probably going to be going through life if you're not documenting it and putting things out there to impact lives.
Wow, that was
I feel
fabulous.
like I expanded more than the question, but thank you.
I mean, you really said a lot, which is quite helpful. The content day, the Ikigai concept of what I love, what the world needs, what I can get paid for, and what I can do. And thank you very much. Please, let's give her a round of applause for sharing those with us. Now let's come to Voice of God, Edewor. You are a media personality, just not beyond just being a voiceover artist. You run a company, you are a TV person as well, you're a stage actor.
Yes, sir.
And I think one of the things that pose as a challenge to people when it comes to content creating is that, although these days we see how people are making money off it, especially, generally content creators. But for voiceover artists, a lot of times we are waiting to get the jobs to pay us. We aren't for the most that I have seen, exposed to how we can create our own content to pay us. Because, of course, if that was a very fruitful venture, a lot of people will be doing it. We won't have to be begging people to create content, right? Like Sabinus and Co. So I want to, glean from your own perspective of how we can make money. right? Because this is the creator economy, and people make money. That's why it's an economy. So how can we as voiceover artists position ourselves to profit from content creation?
All right, thank you very much. I was going to say praise the Lord, but you've said it. So, hallelujah. Okay, thank you. So I would say, I want to say big thank you to KDE for putting me on this. I really appreciate it. And what you're doing, please a round of applause for this. Young man. Amazing. I've always had this vision for the voiceover industry, the fact that Nigeria needs to see it beyond just being a hobby. You understand? And because a lot of people who got into the industry, a lot of them did it because I can do it now. There's this opportunity now, let me just do it. You know, it wasn't my plan. You know, someone told me or someone dragged me to do it. But the good thing is that coming up with things like this, making people understand that it is beyond a hobby, it's a profession. You understand? And for every profession, there is a goal to make money. If you get into any profession, is to make money. So you need to understand the business part of voiceovers. Right, now you said something about how can we make money, because every time we wait for the client to let us know, oh, there's this script, there's this job, I need your voice. Can you do that? But thank God for social media right now that we have the power to create and advertise at the same time. That gives us the leverage. Other than waiting for someone to help us put the word out there or put our voice out there, we can put it out by ourselves. There was something, I think it was David who talked about collaboration. That's one of the major ways to grow your presence and value. And money will come after value. So if you are a creator and you're not giving value, you can't expect money. That's basically it. So collaboration helps build your value. I've seen that in the comedy industry. There was a time where comedy was just a joke, pun intended. It is still a joke, but comedy is making a huge amount of money, revenue, because they decided to collaborate. You'd see AY put 10 or 15 other comedians on his show because he knows that every comedian has his own audience. And he's tapping into that comedian's audience. Because the reason why I'll go to the show, maybe I don't want to see AY. I want to see a Bobby or I see someone else. I will go to that show and pay. So the creator needs to always think from that perspective. If I have 10,000 followers on social media and Steph has 50,000 followers on Instagram, let's use Instagram for example, and I want to scale up, I want to reach 60,000 people, I'll just reach out to Steph. Oh, I have this idea. Let's create content. Let's see how it would. I can tap into your audience and you can tap into mine. Even if I have 10,000 and you have 50,000, I'm adding to your 50,000. The same way you're adding to my 10,000. So it's about knowing how to collaborate, knowing the kind of intentional collaborations you should be doing as well. Because there are some collaborations that they will not help you, right? But intentional collaborations, growing the content, adding value. If your content is giving value, definitely you will make money. That's one thing I've come to understand. And when David was putting out the kind of content you can create, always think from a value perspective. Is it adding value to anybody? Or is it you just putting yourself out there and say, let me just drop my video, let them just see me do something? 90% of the projects I've worked on came from social media, 90%. And it's just from one video or one challenge I jumped on, or one, content I put out there showing how I created a process of, or a jingle I did. And they're like, oh, you did that? I say, yeah. Oh, great. I have this, can you do this for me? So that's how it is. I always think about what value do I want to put out there before I create my content.
Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Please a round of applause for Edewor, who's the voice of God. All right. I want to ask you this question, Steph. I remember, was it 2 years ago, we were co-actors on an animation gig. And while every other person was so focused on the script, you were too, but you were, if not the only person who remembered, let me take my phone and record. And I'm like, wow, you're so like a natural at this. But you know, they say talent is never enough. Even if it were talent, people can still learn the process. So the question I have for you is, I mean, there are people here who want to know how to do this, create content. First of all, you tell us your own process, and then tell us the basic things that people need to know about them. I mean, do you necessarily need a ring light? Do you need different type of lights, cameras, mics, and stuff? What are the basic, so that people can also find themselves in that, you know, content creation trend, which is the future of voiceover?
Okay, thank you so much. There is something Mr. Chow said. Now, when it comes to voiceover, I'm also a TV presenter as well. But one thing about voiceover, like Mr. Chow said, is we as voiceover artists, what people hear is our voice. People see our voice. I'll give you an example. You are stuck in traffic, maybe somewhere on the island, and then you turn on your radio set and you hear, let me use T-code glasses, the glasses you deserve, something like that. And you're like, this voice is very sweet. Now, you may hear that voice when you go to the mall, maybe somewhere on your way to church or something. You know the voice, you recognize the voice, but do you know the name of the person who voiced it? Do you know what the person looks like? No. So, this is what I really want to tell us, like every aspiring voiceover artist here. Now, there was a time when I had a recording, and I had some veterans in the studio as well with me during the recording. So while everybody was voicing, I got on my phone, I put it there, like, you guys, this is BTS, you're doing a recording. And then when I left, the producer said something, but like, Stepahnie, you know they tired. I said, what happened? He said, everyone was just asking, why is this one recording? Why is she bringing out her phone? I just laughed. Now, I'm going to share what I call a testimony somehow. The first 1 million naira I made was from voiceover. That was the first time I was going to see 1 million naira.
A round of applause. Round of applause.
So now, you know that situation where you're checking your account balance and you're seeing 1 million. You don't even want to move 100 naira because if the 100 naira comes out, you're no longer a millionaire. You know? So now, it dawned on me, I was asking myself, how come it's a good thing that our voices are being heard? But sometimes it's also good to let people know the process behind making the voiceover. So I took it on to myself. I said, you know what, when I'm making voiceovers or recording voiceovers, I'm going to let people know how this thing happens. A lot of people think that voiceovers is just holding a script and reading a script. There's a lot that happens behind the scenes y'all don't know. I'm telling you, yeah, you can see maybe T-Code, you can hear a voiceover T-Code did. It sounded so nice, the energy is there, you feel like T-Code is talking to you. A T-Code should show you all the, even had to fold his hand up, like, God, go blow you now, you know, all those things. He literally maybe has to act out the script. So I asked myself, I want to start voiceovers. How do I let people know that this is what I do? Now, if you're an aspiring voiceover artist, content is key. Tell your neighbor, content is key.
Content is key.
Tell your neighbor, content is not the new currency.
Content, not the new currency.
Now, imagine we are all here, the voiceover conference, and you bring out your phone like, hi guys, I'm at the voiceover conference. Is that not content? Yes. So how will I know that? Let me say Sarah Smiles. I met someone, her name is Sarah Smiles. So if you're here, Sarah, are you here? Yeah. So let me say Sarah Smiles. I come to her Instagram and she said she writes voiceover artist, voice goddess, something. And I go to Sarah's Instagram page, and what I'm seeing are pictures of cats, dogs, pictures of her family members. Oh, Sunday was so cool, serve the Lord, hashtag God girl, you know, all those things. And I'm like, what brought me to your page is the fact that I saw voiceover written on your bio, right? So how will Sarah justify the fact that she's a voiceover artist? I need to see something. So there was a VTS I did. We were recording a voiceover for MTN. So I just decided to record as usual. When I put that that content up, it blew up. You know what people were asking? I was going through the comment section. People were like, so now human being, they do all this thing. I think it's a robot or machine. And I was shocked. I was shocked that people think that most of the voiceovers you hear are maybe artificial intelligence, or maybe there's a robot that is given a script and it reads it. So when you go home today from this conference, King E, thank you so much for putting this together. Like, I was over there, I was enjoying writing, like I was also, because I'm also learning. Yeah. Now, when you go home as a voiceover artist, if you want to let people know that, hey, this is what I do, I'm a voiceover artist, don't wait for a client to give you a script. Yes. You can put something up by yourself. Maybe you went to Ikorodu, water wanted to swallow you. You can put something together. As I was walking on the road today, all of a sudden, water came from nowhere and swallowed my enemy. That's content, yes. And you can just maybe there are many apps like InShot, we have CapCut. There's a lot of them. Don't wait for a client to give you. When I got my first major voiceover contract, it was because the client saw the content that I put and reached out to me. Like many of us say here, 90% of the clients that I've gotten today come from my Instagram. You can just be walking on the road, voice of Steph, I know you. I'm like, hi, you know? And I'll smile like, oh my God, I follow you. And that is just the passion. So you can get things like ring lights. We all have access to ring lights. If you don't have, you cannot buy. Go and visit your friend. Tell her you want to just come and share the gospel. When you're done sharing the gospel, borrow a ring light and do content. Is it not the same thing? So that is the importance of content creation as a voiceover artist. Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Thank you so much. A round of applause for Steph, voice of Steph, for sharing, those insights with us. We're running out of time, so we'll just try to make it as brief as possible. David, my mind is going to you. I want to ask you this question. Steph has said a lot of things. And I know that there's this sentiment that some of us share that maybe because she be woman, why people, they always like her stuff. Maybe she's getting traction. I know you might disagree because you put in the work. But David, what do you think about that? And if there are anything you want to add to, what she has said about the basic things you need for content creation, please feel free to respond.
Okay, thank you so much for that question. I personally I think that women have a higher chance of doing better on social media than men.
I agree.
Yes. Yes.
I agree, sir.
I think so.
I agree.
Women have a higher chance of succeeding on social media than men. But the problem is that they don't know this fact. Most of them don't know that they have a higher chance. So they are laid back. Most women are scared. They have this, will I call it imposter syndrome? They are scared of putting out content because they feel embarrassed,
But why? And the question is why?
Why is that women are more emotive than men. Women are more, they share more than men. They have this gift of sharing. It's like they are biologically wired for networking. Yes. Do you understand? Yeah. So because of this emotive and appealing and giving nature of women, I feel they stand a higher chance of engaging with a wider audience than men. Trust me, if I was a woman, or if I am a woman, and I'm doing this same thing I'm doing, trust me, I will have a higher reach on social media. But nevertheless, we move, right?
These are debates for another day.
Yeah.
We're not going to let it rest.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know about that. But before I drop the mic, I just wanted to add that, you see, social media is just like you know how to dance, right? You know how to dance, but there is no light. Nobody's shining light. Nobody gets to see you, right? So social media is a way of you shining a light on yourself, telling people what you do. I know how to do this. And at the same time, I also want to drop this advice out there, because you're a voiceover artist doesn't necessarily mean all your content will be voiceover related, right? Let me explain myself. It doesn't mean every day you come out, you drop demo, every day. People get tired, right? Your content, have different style of content. Like me, most of you know I don't come out every day to tell people I'm a voiceover artist. I come out to correct pronunciations, right? But in all of my videos will tell you that I'm a voiceover artist without actually telling you that I'm a voiceover artist. So some people can reach out to me and say, oh yes, I heard your voice, so nice. From this, I saw this video on somebody's status and your voice is so nice. Can you do a voiceover? And that video the person saw, I wasn't even telling them that I'm a voiceover artist. So it's also very important. I have something to say. I've forgotten what I have to say, but I hope I remember. If I remember, I'll just quickly chip it in before
All right.
All right. So thank you very much.
A round of applause for David. Thank you so much, David. Let's move to NEK. Annie, I know, of course, as a president, it's more like you're a pastor, so you need to always encourage and tell people. So I want you to talk to people now. You mentioned something that we have like veterans, we have the, younger ones and all of that. Some people, we still need to convince them, voiceover, you should put content creation. For people who are maybe timid, shy, they don't know what to do next, how to go about it, or even how to approach collaboration, what advice do you have for them? Share with us as we round off.
Okay. This is a double-barrel question. Let me see I'll take it from the first one.
The mic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me take that from the first one. Could you just repeat that again?
Okay, so one is that a lot of people don't know how to, get their timid and all of that. What advice, do you have for them? I think basically that's the question.
Okay. Okay, great. So there's this quote by Lao Tzu. I think it says, worry about what others think and you become their prisoner. As I'm speaking now, imagine a person who is standing, trying to walk forward, and there are like 100 strings tied to them, pulling them back. For every time you hold yourself back because of the judgment or the opinions of others, you give yourself away to be their prisoner. So I think that a lot of us need to, not to preach or anything, I think we need to do a lot of internal work to find who we really are, why we're here, what we want to share. Like, I think it was Edewor who said, don't just put content out there because of it. What do I want to put out in this world? What do I want to be known for? Is it voiceovers? Is it, in fact, that's even your profession. Do you want to be known as the person who inspires action? That is what I want to be known as. Right? What do you want to be known for? Do you want to be the person who gives joy when they just see you or they watch your videos, people are happy? Do you want to be the person who teaches people how to fly? Decide who you are and who you want to be and continue to show up that way in the world. Because people's opinions will get you nowhere, right? Some of the people who were saying to Steph, your own is too much, they are looking at her now with her number of followers. And, that is not even standing in the way of the kind of bags that she's getting. And for everyone who's also seated on this panel, you hear them saying that they got jobs from social media. There are people who are seated here. One of them is standing. They're getting serious bags from social media. Me bakes, right? So don't hold yourself back. Don't think you are too old. The creator economy is no respecter of persons. It is no respecter of ages. It's no respecter of class, race, gender, ethnicity. I could go on and on. If you want a slice or a chunk of the market share, step out and grab it. Nobody is going to hand it over to you, right? I'm here to help you inspire action. I could tell you, this is what I did, but at the end of the day, I want you to go back home and sit down with yourself and say, who am I? How do I want to show up? What type of content do I want to put out? What is going to be my legacy when I leave here? Because we're not going to be here forever, right? You are a superstar voiceover actor now. You've done thousands of voiceovers. You've been doing it for 30 years. But in 10 years, who is going to know that? Who is going to know that? Now, when we were all younger, before you could appear on TV, your parents would take you to NTA. Now, for thousands and millions of people to see you, you pick this up, record a video. This technology, content creation, social media has democratized it for us. So you have the power, right? Power to the people. No more NTA. No more all of that, right? So pick up your phone, pick up what technology has given you, and start to create because you are a creator. Okay?
All right.
I think I will drop the mic now.
All right. Thank you so much, Enike. A round of applause for her. Shout out to Femi Bakes. I see you. Okay, so we're rounding up already, and I just want to take one last word from the few people who are yet to speak. So I'll start with Voice of God. Just one last word to people who are going to this.
Okay, I'll just say I had a conversation with someone during the break, and he was speaking about the fact that the industry is saturated. That's what he said. He said it's a concern, and I wanted to talk about it. Yeah, he's here. He's this guy. See him. He's the one that said it. It's not me. Yeah, but he was talking about the industry being saturated, and I said, and I'm going to use this opportunity to tell everyone out there who thinks the same, that your voice is unique to you, actually. So the problem is when you want to try to sound like someone else, you always become second to that person. Yeah. So understand that even if we are 10 million people doing voiceover work, if you sound different and sound unique, that makes you stand out. And the job that would come for you would definitely come for you. So don't be scared, all right? Just do it.
A round of applause for Voice of God. The devil there. Thank you so much. Let's hear from Charles Alade, the founder of Voiceover Bootcamp. Oh, okay. Mr. Oscar. Let's give him a round of applause. Oscar. One of the legends in the voiceover game. We can call him.
I know spoil my market. I'm not been any legend. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. How are you doing? Wow, it's like classroom. Voice of God, that was a very valid point. But in my course, I realized that sometimes some voices sound similar, and you're not trying to sound like someone else, just that two people happen to sound the same. And that's a very rare example, which would not have been possible 10 years, 5 years ago, but it happened to me. It's still happening. And the differentiation is still a very valid point. So there are those that are trying to sound like somebody else. Then there are people who sound similar on their own paths. They're doing their own thing, and they sound similar. I don't have the answer to that question, but I'm just saying that there are sometimes that people sound similar, and you need to find a way to differentiate. And one of the ways is to focus on your brand. I think one of the things that people are going to buy into in the very near future, which is already happening, is that people buy into personalities and brands. Gone are the days where it's about first class, 10 A's. All those things matter, but your story is your personality is your brand, and people key into that. No two brands or no two stories can be the same. So I want us to focus on that angle and let your voice just be one of the outlets that demonstrates that brand. So focus on your brand. That's what I'll focus on.
Thank you very much. Give it up for Mr. He's an OG, actually. He's an OG. Mr. Oscar Oyinsan. Please, a round of applause for him. All right, let's listen to Mr. Charles Alade. What do you think for people who are going into content creation?
I'd like to say to everyone here, please be seen at all cost. If the desirable is not available, the available will be desirable. I woke up this morning and realized that I forgot my belt in Ibadan. So I stepped out and I said, any belt I find that is black, I know I was going to go for a fake belt. I was sure, because I was not ready to spend something much on belt since I have one. So I picked it and I wore it, and you don't know, except I just told you now. Why I said that is because don't wait till there is one standard. I want to sound like Steph. I want to see David. Please, put yourself out. Wake up every morning thinking about yourself and want people to see you. If it is Yoruba voiceover you can do, ọ̀rẹ́ mi Akànní, owó kan bẹ lọ́wọ́ mi. Ó sì wù mí kí n fi dókòwò. Má sọ òyìnbó òṣì kan tí ò ní fún ẹ lówó.
Walai.
If it is pidgin you know how to do it. After all, it is not the UK people that want to buy the product you are advertising for. So if it's Yoruba you can speak, jẹ́ kó dán lẹ́nu ẹ. If it is pidgin, kill am. Leave English for people who sabi English. At the end of the day, let us see you. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you very much. A round of applause for Mr. Charles Alade.
Ooh.
This has been a fantastic session. I've learned a whole lot, and I hope you have too. I've taken a lot of things away from the session, but I'll just say one or two. One is that I think you should be as much as possible be original, like what he just said. Someone needs you. And I've heard it across the sessions. Even the animators talked about it. The business folks talked about it. We need to hear your uniqueness. Secondly, it goes in line with the theme, dare. Dare. A lot of people are scared of doing this. A lot of people are camera shy and all of that. But when you dare, you'll then have the audacity to break new grounds. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being a part of this. My name is T-Code, and thanks to my panelists. All right, we'll see you in the next edition. Thank you.